Means Business is here to ensure that you kickstart off your day with business information as relevant as it is wherever you are across the entire East African community region, and of course giving you more updates as it's happening away from the region, on the continent and at the global scene. Well, besides that, speaking of business information, there is always an opportunity for you to grow your investments. And Zabo, as a platform powered by Altex East Africa, is giving you that opportunity for you. You can register with Zabo with your NIN, and in the next 24 hours, you'll be ready to invest in bonds and securities by using your NIN. So for the MTN subscribers, you dial *292# and you follow the prompt, and you can definitely start investment. So it is definitely having less hassle, but with the comfort of your phone, you're ready to go. You follow the prompt with *292#, you will be welcome to the Zabo dashboard, and then you will be selecting any product that you wish to invest in. You select any bond from your preferred maturity period to at least invest in. Make your money count. Do not just save, but save for investment. With a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings, Zabo says, my money, my future. Markets are open at 8:15 a.m. and closed at 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. Note, the markets are closed on weekends and the public holidays. Zabo, my money, my future. Powered by Altex East Africa, which says do something new. Now, from the world of Uganda's situations, we now look at the state of the Ugandan roads. In Uganda, we do have the Uganda National Roads Authority, as much as Kenya has got the Kenya Highways Regulatory Authority. If we're to look at this particular situation here with the Uganda National Roads Authority, we apparently get to understand more of what is making headlines and what is happening from the world that we are dealing with. Well, preferably, if we are to continue looking at the world of business and more so how the business world can be contained, we get to realize that in Uganda today, one of the biggest challenges that we are facing as a country generally is about the transportation network. This is highly characterized with the situation to do with one, poor roads, two, the potholes within the city. If you're to look at the potholes around industrial area, look at the road that is at the route to Bugolobi, and as well as if you're to look at the route to Namuwongo. These are some of the routes that we clearly need to focus more on. But if we to continue understanding the aspect of the business world in Uganda, the legislators, on the other hand, have their say on the state of the poor roads in Uganda. When you move to some of the countries that are actually developing at quite a faster pace than Uganda, one of the key issues that they've definitely worked upon is looking at construction of better roads, setting up routes that will foster trade and movement of goods, and of course reinforcing services in those particular countries. And here in Uganda, some of the roads are in shambolic states. That is something the government clearly needs to work upon, the Uganda National Roads Authority. Just as much as Kenya has got the Kenya National Highways Authority, so this is some way that we need to clearly look at here in Uganda and focus more on that. But in the business side today, we have legislators commenting on the state of Uganda's poor roads.
One thing, you know, politicians, they look for political capital. They always want to blame the government, especially those on the opposition. I am an independent member of parliament, and I have to be honest to myself. I don't need to tell lies in order to be loved, to be voted back in 2026. I need to tell the truth. Most of the politicians, they're not in touch with the cow. They're not in touch with the district. They just assume government is not doing. They always find something to what? To blame the government. Before you blame the government, what information do you have at hand? Produce, show that information that the government has not done. But on record, it is very clear that government has been giving money and it is giving money. I confirm on Friday, the cow demonstrated from his phone the money which Gulu District, Gulu City received.
There is certainly a problem. And I really want to believe that there is a way around it. It's not really overwhelming. The problem has to do with the money. The roads, it's true, the entire Kasese, has the challenge of a poor road network. The money that we receive as a district is not enough. Understand that Kasese is a district that probably should be 5 times bigger than the road, and yet when it comes to allocation, we're given the same money. So lately we have been having a lot of pounding and heavy rains that have washed away the roads. The pounding rains have washed away the bridges that we had in our community, and this is something as leaders that are brought to the attention of government. I personally talked, I brought the same to the attention of the minister, Honorable General Katumba Wamala. It has really been kind in trying to make a call and calls to the executive director, UNRA, Madame Kajina, and also the regional managers, and also our Kasese UNRA branch. But I think what Uganda should recognize is that we don't have money. These people operate a budget, and it's only the budget that is supposed to facilitate the work. So while leaders make a lot of requests or in petitions and place the same on their tables, their hands are tied because they can't get the money. When we get into the house or to the house here, we get the same problem. We get the same challenge. They try to reach out, and it has occurred that the problem lies with finance. And when you try to get in contact with the people in finance, they're going to tell you, we don't have money. And yet understand that we push the budget. And I really want to believe that what our colleagues and the entire House is trying to push forward is the right thing, that we create a space for autonomy with the road fund. That the road fund should determine how and when and where the money allocated to it is spent, like then creating some kind of middleman and middle line systems. So we get a lot of road challenges, that's true, and of course the heavy rains that have been in the district and for literally now 4 months non-stop. I think you saw on TV the road from Pondo Junction to Bwera General Hospital. You've seen the road right from Kikorongo to Border Customs. You've seen the road from Pondwe Bridge to Kiraru. You've seen the road from Katoha to Bwera General Hospital. Quite a lot of roads all over the community, Kasese as a community. So I ask government to prioritize the road network and the road system, not only in Kasese but in the entire country. You've seen bridges washed away in Pequach, that a community are now disconnected from one another. We have also one in Isango that connects Karambi sub-county, Kitori sub-county, and also the part of Pone on the lower side, disconnected. You have communities that are disconnected. Our sons and daughters that go to those schools in the community can no longer go to schools with ease, especially when it rains and the river, those wooden walkways get overflooded. The kids don't go to school for fear of drowning in the flooded rivers. And I think it's very important that government prioritizes the road system and the road network, because if you don't do that, you're going to affect the churches, you're going to affect the schools, you're going to affect the town centers or the trade system. I have a feeling that now that we have it, we've brought the road network predicament in Kasese to the attention of government. We hope that government will be in a position to act, and we've told government if they don't have money, I think we have valid justification to come to Parliament and ask for a supplementary. We've asked for supplementary for things that don't really even directly benefit our fellow citizens. And I think if we came back to the House and asked the Ministry for Works and Transport asked for supplementary, to cover the entire country in Uganda, because disaster in terms of heavy rains has literally covered the entire country. So if we got to the House and we asked for parliamentary, something that is going to be warmly welcomed by every member. So I am appealing to government to prioritize the road network. There is no way we can do without a good road system.
The status of poor roads in Uganda, I was ideally talking about the Kenya Highways Authority. If you were to look at the level of road construction and the achievements the governments in Kenya and Tanzania have had in regards to construction of better roads or highways to facilitate movement of goods and services within their countries, it is something that we Ugandans should clearly benchmark on. But also, if we are to look at some of the other situations, we will get to understand more of the situations regarding how business is actually moving in. We should as well try to understand that we need to work upon some of these particular routes that are either heading to tourism destinations. We should as well, as a country, need to steadily work on how the potholes are being maintained, because when we talk about road maintenance, is we are clearly looking at how these roads are kept in their right shape. We've got a lot of potholes within the capital, and one of the key challenges the cities within the country are facing is the routes that actually taking you to those various destinations. So these are things that we need to work upon. We need to work on enlarging these roads, and as well as looking at how best we can maintain them to keep them ready for to withstand any weather conditions that are coming up. Some of these particular roads are washed away once we experience floods and some other unbearable climate change conditions. So some of these things are affecting the transportation of goods from the various areas up country into the city centers. So if the government is to clearly look at that, those are some of the things that are supposed to be worked upon. But of course, the Uganda National Roads Authority believes that every MP or every member of parliament wants to have their road worked upon, but the budgeting is still less for some of these particular roads. So they are taking it step by step, because every financial year they do have a road they're working on, either construction or maintaining. So those are some of the key things that the Uganda National Roads Authority is working upon. So it also acquires us to be very patient with UNRA as well in regards to road construction and maintenance. Well, besides that, it takes me back to the SMB update we did kick off with this morning, and the business update was regarding President Museveni's virtual meeting with the East African community leaders. Among the key things during this particular one was the discussion to do with the illegal guns who have forced their entry into the DRC. And President Museveni did tell the EAC leaders that this has caused the increasing insecurity. Well, if you're to look at the East African community, ever since the Democratic Republic of Congo became a 7th member state, one of the key discussions was to provide room for peace and harmony within the DRC and fight against the M23 rebels, amongst other external forces that are trying to destabilize peace in Congo. If you're to look at business disruptions in regards to movement of goods from DRC to Kenya to Uganda to South Sudan to Rwanda to Burundi. One of the other things that most of the countries have to make sure is always a priority has to be security, because with security enforces movement and safer movement, not only the movement of goods but safer movement, whereby you're protecting these cargo drivers, you're protecting the business person, and you're protecting the goods that are being transported. So security is way, way bigger than just the smaller picture of looking at the goods that are being protected, but also the person who's delivering these goods and services. And also, not only that, but also looking at how are we going to walk through such challenges. So this is more than just the small group that you're looking at. So it is upon this same situation that the president, among his key discussions with East African leaders, looking at how they can find out a way to harmonize peace and stability within the DRC. Well, of course, here in Uganda, when you look at one of the key priorities that the NRM government has taken part is that since 1986, they've been able to make sure that they stabilize peace and security for the business community, to at least have that safety worked upon, so that they know that in the morning when I wake up or when I close my shop in the evening, I will definitely go back safely, wake up in the morning without any chances or with minimal chances of finding my shop closed. So these are some of the things that people clearly need to understand. Now, if you look at foreign armed groups like the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, from Uganda, these have been the Interahamwe of Rwanda and other groups from Burundi and Angola, plus the internal Congolese groups such as the Codeco, M23, there's been Mai Mai, and others have all these years been killing Congolese and disturbing their peace. This is part of what President Museveni was ideally addressing to the East African community leaders. So he did highlight that illegal guns are fueling DRC conflict, according to him, and there should be a better way of finding how these guns make their entry into the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. That is the latest country to be initiated into the East African Community bloc. So if we want to have that peace working upon, because what happens in Congo will definitely affect proceedings in Uganda. If you have a neighbor, you have to make sure that you know at least a few of what is happening into the external conflicts, or a bit of the personal part of it, because at any one point something may happen and it may hit you, and surprisingly. So you need to at least get in touch with your neighbors and you help them out. So that is the exact thing that Congo, the DRC, and other East African community states are having in terms of the discussions to ensure that there is sustainable peace and security in the eastern part of the DRC. So President Museveni said that they are actually pursuing more of looking for mitigations to clearly work upon peace and harmony. And the President of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, said that the pursuit of peace is an inevitable precondition for the prosperity of East Africa, and reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to supporting the same cause in the DRC to fight against terrorism and also provide a room for peace and stability in East Africa. And the President of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, who also attended the virtual meeting, welcomed the swift response in seeking to restore peace in Eastern DRC, saying Rwanda is committed to the process of addressing the root cause of insecurity, and because it is a one for all. So we are taking this one not only for the DRC, but for the entire East African community states. So it is also, if you're to look at the other situation, was there were more representatives from the Republic of the United Republic of Congo, rather of the United Republic of Tanzania. There are representatives from the government of the Republic of South Sudan, and also observers from the African Union, United Nations, and invited members of the diplomatic corps were taking part in this particular virtual meeting, where the key discussion was how best Uganda can live peacefully with her neighbors and also harmonizing peace within the entire East African community region. Good morning, Uganda. Good morning, East Africa. I hope you're all well. After the break, we're getting on ground with Barija Andrew. Stick around.
Smart 20.